get to the topic of ectopic pregnancy?
Because the procedure is still an abortion.
I think because you're kind of moving away from the homicide issue.
No, hold on.
Because I think because the point.
Wait, how am I moving away from it when you cut me off and then I'm trying to explain to you why what you just said was wrong? What I'm saying is an ectopic pregnancy, you would still get rid of that pregnancy via abortion. The term abortion is just the termination of a pregnancy. A lot of times it does result in it's the termination of a non-viable pregnancy in particular.
Abortion refers to the termination of a non-viable pregnancy?
Yes.
What percentage of abortions do you think are in the case of ectopic pregnancy or a threat to the life of the mother?
That's a different question.
Because what I'm saying is
the reason why I brought up
far more than 99% of abortions are elective where the baby is viable.
Yeah, no. That's,
so what you said
what you don't understand is the
true.
concept of viability. 80% of abortions take place in the first week, not the first week, the first
you're saying
trimester.
Viable of living outside of the mother's womb.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why. So the vast majority of the time,
but the baby would still be viable in as much as the baby would continue to develop and live, just like you.
That's not. But again, you're mincing words because that's not what the term viability means.
I'm just
you're
trying to get
saying
through
that
the
it's You're saying that it's not euphemisms. It's literal words. I don't know what euphemism. Maybe I'm.
What do you know what a euphemism means?
Yeah, I know what a euphemism means. I'm not using one. But the thing is, I'm telling you,
a euphemism is a word to try to paper over a harsh reality with a language that would be less evocative and clear. Which is why I'm referring to a human being in the womb, and you're trying to refer to, say, a pregnancy or the product.
Hold on. Did I wait? Hold on. I didn't say that the pregnancy or the fetus isn't a human being. It is. But I'm telling you.
Good.
I'm telling you.
But then why won't you call it a human being?
What? I said a pregnancy.
The
reason why I say, because I'm describing what the term abortion refers to. It's referring to ending a pregnancy, meaning it doesn't necessarily mean killing a human being. If the human being is already dead, you'd use the same procedure.
But abortion doesn't operate on people who are already dead. Abortion, you could.
That's why I'm bringing up ectopic pregnancy.
The threat of an ectopic pregnancy is the baby is continuing to grow and threatens the life of the mother.
So if it's like develops cancer, if like the cells that are developing into the baby turn cancerous, or there's something where
the mother could develop cancer separately, which would be
but I'm saying in terms like that where the baby is dead, or you have like a miscarriage or something like that. The process by which you terminate that pregnancy is still abortion. Abortion is simply referring to terminating a pregnancy of an unviable fetus, which means, or a non-viable fetus, which means that in the time in which it is terminated, it cannot survive outside the mother. That's the term abortion. Now you can say abortion could be used for killing a baby or everything, but that doesn't change the fact that there are circumstances in which the baby's already dead, and that procedure is still called an abortion. So outlawing that procedure,
it isn't though. It is because you use the word terminate. What does the word terminate mean?
End a pregnancy.
Okay, and what is a pregnant? What do you mean by a pregnancy?
The fetus is inside of the mother,
so
the termination of a viable.
What
do you mean?
When you say you're going to.
Hello everybody, welcome one and all. So what's on tap for today on the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show? Well, we've got the debates. That's right folks, the Matrix debates between Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire and Joshua Joseph, who is a BLM activist. This is part 3. The question they've been debating is, what is an ectopic pregnancy? And as you saw the mental gymnastics that Joshua was going through, I mean, it twisted me into a freaking pretzel, folks. I mean, I was like, twisted up. My back's hurting. I probably got to go visit a chiropractor tomorrow. I mean, the linguistics are absolutely unbelievable. Anyways, let's continue with it. I'll give you some of my reactions and my insights on the other side.
Pregnancy, by which you mean the fetus that is inside of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't mean ending the fetus that is inside the mother. I mean ending the process of pregnancy.
And what is that process? The process is the continued growth of that pregnancy.
Yes.
Which is
life. But even if if the baby is no longer growing or something, that's still a pregnancy because it's still inside the mother. The termination of a viable pregnancy is delivery or C-section. So I don't think you understand. So the termination of a non-viable pregnancy would be when the baby cannot live outside the mother, right? And you get an abortion, whatever. That's how you.
But you could do that.
Or if there was.
That's not an ectopic pregnancy. That could be just any time before the baby could live outside of the mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're no longer just talking about ectopic pregnancy.
I was never only like trying to make the point that ectopic pregnancy is the only. I'm saying the term abortion refers to terminating a pregnancy. That can be at any stage of the pregnancy. If you terminate a non-viable pregnancy, that is abortion. That is usually what will happen in the first few weeks or the first trimester of, which is when most abortions happen. When you terminate a viable fetus, meaning a fetus that can live outside the womb, unless it's like a threat to the mother, which is very rare, that is a delivery. If the pregnancy ends on a viable fetus, that is usually because the mother has pushed out the baby or got a C-section.
You don't like me using this term baby or person or human being. You don't like
because
you
I think that
fetus.
because I think that you and me and everyone watching knows that the image that pops into mind when you say a baby or a child.
Of course. What is that image that pops up? Don't like using that terminology, because what is it when you use that word, that modifier, that descriptive adjective, that noun, a baby? What is that? What's that tell everybody? It tells everybody that it's a living human being, folks. It's a child. It's a baby. That's why he doesn't like using it. And you saw, again, the mental gymnastics that he's trying to go through, saying viable, unviable, first trimester, if you decide to take it to pregnancy, if you decide not to take it to pregnancy, if you decide not to have the baby. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Anyways, let's continue.
We say the term, how's the baby, how's your baby, to a woman who's pregnant because we're under the assumption that they're going to bring that baby to term. What
else would they be doing? If you're 3, 4, 5 months pregnant, what are you going to be doing? I mean, I guess there are people out there that, are terminating after that, too. But for the majority, they are taking the pregnancy to delivery, whether it's vaginal delivery or it's a C-section.
Yes, we make that jump that it's like you're going to give
Perhaps
birth.
that's how you interpret it. The way I interpret it, the reason that I would ask, how is the baby doing, is because I'm inquiring into how that baby at that particular moment is doing. That's why I use that language.
Yeah, no, that's the same. Those two.
But I'm not saying
those two things aren't. Those two
be
things aren't mutually exclusive. You could
obviously not mutually
You could be inquiring into the condition of the baby, but the reason why you're using the term baby is because when you see someone who's pregnant, you don't think about, hey, do they want to bring this to term? But what's going on in their personal life?
So
you
this brings
assume
us back.
You see they're pregnant. That means they're going to have a baby. That's
so this
the
brings
logic
us back to the point that's at hand here, because what you seem to be suggesting here is that the identity of the being inside the womb is contingent upon whether or not the mother wants to have an abortion. So if the mother does want to have an abortion, well, let me at least explain what I think you're saying, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying if the mother wants to have an abortion and get rid of the baby, then you wouldn't refer to it as a baby. You wouldn't ask, how's the baby doing, obviously. But if the mother wants to bring the baby to term and then raise the baby and send the baby off to college, then you would ask, how is the baby doing? And the question of whether or not that baby is a baby depends upon the wishes of the mother as pertains to that baby. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. So what I'm saying is the language that you use, right? So when we're using the term baby, there's no point in which you're growing up through childhood and you stop and think, let me consider the complex natures of pregnancy and weigh the mother. You just kind of assume, you see someone showing, they're going to have a baby, how's the baby doing? And most times it's not offensive, because usually if you're getting to the point where you're showing, you're probably going to already carry the baby to term. But when we're talking about the fact that the vast majority of abortions happen within the first trimester, a lot of times you're not even showing.
Majority now
you don't
are
ask.
Or, drugs.
Yeah, and at that point, you don't even really get the opportunity to ask, how's the baby doing? Because a lot of times you don't even know that somebody is pregnant, or they don't even know that they're pregnant, and then they get the thing. So it's like, when you see somebody who is obviously pregnant, a lot of times they're further along, they're planning for a baby. So we make that jump, hey, how's the baby doing? Because we're under the assumption that, most people are going to bring the baby to term.
But if that baby, so if the baby is a baby and you're going to call it a baby.
If you asked somebody, hey, how's the baby doing? Then you'd listen to them. And if they're like, well, we're going through some stuff and I don't know, I'm looking into getting an abortion. If they get that close to you, I don't know. I don't relinquish that information, like something close to me. But if they got close to you and they're like, yeah, I don't know, you'd probably be better off if you didn't but your child, how's your child doing? But the child, because you know what that's invoking.
Sure, okay, so let's leave it at baby. If you're granting that you see a pregnant woman, you say, hey, that's a baby. I'm acknowledging that thing is a baby. Then don't you necessarily have to conclude that it would be wrong to kill that baby through an abortion? Because you're saying it's a baby.
Well, if you use that language.
But you just said you would use that.
Bingo. That's exactly what we're talking about there. he's using his long language, and now Michael is taking this right now and turning it around. That's right, folks. He actually said that thing, that it's a baby if you're showing. And naturally, then he's talking about, oh, well, maybe the person didn't get that, you're not really that close of a friend. Well, then they probably wouldn't confide in you into what you're doing. These are like abstract things that are going on. We're talking about normal types of encounters, where usually what happens is that you know the person, you've seen them for a little bit, they start showing a little bit, could be at work, could be a colleague, could be a family member, could be a neighbor, could be anybody there that you probably have some type of a connection to. Not someone that you just meet on the street and you tap someone on the shoulder that looks at you and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but I just kind of wondering, how's your baby doing?" I mean, the person, creep, get away from me. That's not what you're talking about, but that's what Josh is sort of intimating, that, if you get close to the person, maybe they'll tell you everything going on in their lives. And, I don't really know what's going on. Maybe we're going to have an abortion. That's not what usually happens. But Michael gets back to him and says, well, basically, here's what's happening. If you're going to admit that you're going to call that a baby, you're going to ask them about if they're showing, and you're saying it's a baby, then doesn't it make sense? Or aren't you just going down that road that you're talking about to say, okay, if you're going in that direction and you've already called it a baby, well, then killing it with an abortion doesn't mean that you're killing the baby or not. And here's where Joshua starts to backpedal a little bit, because now the mental gymnastics are sort of running through his head, and he's wondering, how can I extricate myself this position that I put myself in? Anyways, let's continue.
That language.
No, I'm saying, yeah, if you're saying, oh, how's the baby doing? And they're like, yeah, I'm going to kill this baby.
No, I'm just
see how
asking
the language,
your opinion of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
assuming you support legal
so
abortion.
you get two separate like things, right? So if you say, oh, how's the baby doing? And they're like, oh, I'm planning on murdering this baby. That's one thing. If you're saying, oh, how's the baby doing? It's like, well, I don't really know. I think I'm going through some stuff with the pregnancy. My doctors told me that XYZ is going to happen, or I'm just not in a position right now. I think I'm going to end my pregnancy. That's going to be fine, because most humans can understand. It's like, okay, this person doesn't have the. I didn't say. Oh, I thought you said funny.
No, I wouldn't find that fine.
Why wouldn't you find that fine?
Well, because we both just agreed that whatever it is that is inside the mother's womb is a baby. We both agreed that we would. You just said baby, but fetus means
No,
also.
I'm saying you using baby. The reason why we colloquially use the term baby is because we make the assumption that they're going to give birth to that baby. It's a lot of times when we see someone pregnant, if they're obviously showing that they're pregnant, they're probably far along enough to where you can make the assumption they're going to give birth.
You wouldn't
But if I was a medical professional, or if I'm talking about the concept of pregnancy, or a term relating to that pregnancy, like abortion, I'd use the term.
Wow, 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 wow. Michael pressed him again on that thing, and he was trying to change. He did use the word fetus in there, but he didn't describe it at that time. He said, most of the time when we see this thing happening, we just colloquially use the word baby. It's just a colloquial term. Are you kidding me? But see, that's what happens, folks. When you hit them with something that just basically hits rationality-wise, and you say to them, you just admitted, you just said yourself that it is a baby from somebody. But see, now they want to take it and say, well, yeah, but there's something going on with me, so you know what, we've decided that maybe we just have to have an abortion now, or the doctor told me something or going on, something like that. And so now it's okay, we can go. And he says, so that we should be fine with that. And Michael basically says, no, we shouldn't be fine with that. That's not what this is all about. You are killing a baby when you have something called an abortion. Call it whatever you want. You are murdering a living human being. A soul is being killed when you have an abortion. You want to call it whatever you want. Zygote, ectopic, embryo, clump of cells, name it, whatever it is. Anyways, folks, Thanks for taking the time to watch. This was part 3 of debates. If you check up here, you'll see we've got some more debates here going on. So check out our channel, The Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. Like and subscribe. We certainly would appreciate it. I'll leave with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.